Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Today I've got 10 different fragrances for you guys that will last all day or all night. So these are fragrances that have very good longevity. Some of them have more projection than others, but all of these last for a very, very long time. So these are fragrances that you shouldn't have any issues with having to reapply or carry around a little decant bottle to refresh with. Most of these fragrances are going to be centered more around fall and wintertime wear, maybe a little bit of springtime wear, but there are a few fragrances in here that you can pull off in summer as well. Of course, that's going to be because most of the time cool weather and cold weather fragrances are a little bit richer, denser, and heavier so that they can cut through the cold. We've got a lot of fragrances to talk about, a lot to break down, so let's just jump right into this. First fragrance I'm going to talk about is one that doesn't get mentioned online all that often. It does draw some comparisons to Paco Rabanne's 1 Million and also the 1 Million Flanker, Absolutely Gold. And the fragrance is this one, Chariol Eau de Parfum. There's also an Eau de Toilette version of this fragrance, which smells quite different from this one. And there's another fragrance from this house called Royal Leather, I believe. And that one is a nice Tuscan leather alternative. This one has cinnamon, leather, amber, and teak wood, along with jasmine. So you can see the fragrance notes that are probably helping draw the conclusion that this one is similar to 1 Million. The cinnamon, the amber, leather. The cinnamon here is more of a sweet cinnamon like you're gonna find in Paco Rabanne's 1 Million. The comparison to Absolutely Gold, the 1 Million Flanker, is because there are floral notes in here as well. Some people might say that this one is like a more mature take on 1 Million or 1 Million Absolutely Gold, that it's not quite as youthful, not quite as brash, not quite as in your face, but it still does have very good performance. It lasts a very long time, and the projection on this is quite good as well. One thing I will say is off a tester strip, this fragrance comes across a little bit more powdery, a little bit more floral than it does off of skin. Off of skin, the cinnamon comes across a little bit better, the teak wood comes out more, so does the amber as well. The florals are more supporting notes, and really good ones at that when you spray this one on your skin. Off a tester strip though, for whatever reason, those floral notes kind of take over a little bit. So make sure to try this one off skin if at all possible. If you ever come across it, don't go off of this, because sometimes tester strips do lie. All right, next fragrance I want to talk about is from the house of Azzaro. This one is a flanker. In my opinion, it is better than the original. Not that I dislike the original, but this one is definitely an improvement. It is Wanted by Night. This one has dried fruits, juniper, tobacco, orange, and cinnamon as some of the notes in the fragrance. And this one is a fantastic fall and wintertime fragrance. Cinnamon in here, not quite as sweet as what you're going to find in fragrances like 1 Million or the fragrance that we just talked about, though it is still quite prominent, and it does have a little bit of sweetness, mainly coming from that mandarin orange in the opening when you first spray this one on. Then you have the additional dried fruits, so that's going to be a little bit of a slightly denser sweetness than the more bright and slightly fresher orange in the opening. You've got a tobacco note that comes out as it dries down, and there's also cumin in here. Cumin is a note, and I bring this up basically every time I talk about this fragrance, that sometimes can come across like body odor, but in here it does not, so that's a good thing, unless you want your fragrances to smell like body odor, and in that case I guess it would be a bad thing, but no, it's a good thing. Wanted by Night, as I said, big improvement over the original Wanted. The original Wanted, still solid if you want a very affordable sort of take or play on the Paco Rabanne Invictus DNA. You know, big compliment getting kind of fragrance, very versatile for a lot of younger guys out there. But Wanted by Night takes things, just refines them a little bit, makes it a little bit more mature so more people can wear it, more of an age range, I guess you could say. Great during the day, great during the night, fall and winter times. So Wanted by Night, great fragrance. Next fragrance is from the house of Parfums de Marley, which is a niche house that is very well known for having fragrances with very good performance and lots of versatility, and this one checks both of those boxes. It's Parfums de Marley Carlisle. This one and Leighton are kind of my two go-to fragrances for Parfums de Marley as far as having good performance and versatility, and also having a big compliment factor. This one has gaiac wood, patchouli, cardamom, and mandarin orange as some of the notes in the fragrance. This one is a big performer. Now, all of these fragrances have great longevity, but Carlisle Off My Skin is just really monstrous. Lasts and projects heavily. The Gaiac wood in here, very prominent. This one, more a fall wintertime fragrance, just because of that power that it has. In springtime or summertime, especially if it's hotter months of spring, you know, as it heads into summertime, might be just a bit too much, this fragrance, as far as the performance goes. Carlisle's a fragrance that you've probably heard a lot about on my channel and other people's channels as well, so I'm gonna leave it right there. But this one is the type of fragrance that you could spray on in the morning. It's gonna last all day and probably all night also, without even having to refresh, especially if you go heavy, which maybe with that one you shouldn't. Sometimes a little goes a long way. Next up, a fragrance from the house of Versace, and it is the flanker to their big club banger Eros Flame. And really, this could also be Eros because it lasts for a long time too. Vanilla tonka pepper, mandarin orange, yet again, and kinoto are some of the notes in this fragrance. So this one is going to be on the sweeter side of things, obviously with the vanilla, the tonka, mandarin orange there in the opening. It is quite sweet, and it's that modern kind of sweetness that turns some people off but works extremely well for compliments. And in terms of versatility, this one has more than the original Versace Eros. The kinoto adds a really nice element to this fragrance as well that helps set it apart a little bit more from the original Eros, gives it an extra sort of dimension to the scent. It's a great nighttime fragrance, but it does have enough versatility to work during the day as well. Next up is a fragrance from the house of Amouage. This one got a lot of hype back, I feel like maybe 3-ish years ago. Everybody was talking about this scent, and then over time everybody stopped and it kind of faded to the background a little bit. But this one is a great daytime fragrance for spring or summer. Very versatile, very compliment getting. It is Reflection Man. And I apologize if the color on this looks weird. The sun is right there, right in my eyes. So then if I hide in the shadow like this, it takes the camera a little bit of time to adjust color wise. So if there's a little bit of a dark period on my face, I apologize. This one has jasmine, neroli, sandalwood, and orris as some of the notes. For a long while, people were calling this basically a niche version of Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male. People were saying, oh, if you like Le Male, get Reflection Man. It's like Le Male, but better. And that's gonna be mainly because of the white florals in here. Again, the jasmine and the neroli. Le Male is a fragrance that makes great utilization of white florals. This does as well, so that's going to be a big point of comparison between the two, as well as the creamy sandalwood that you're going to find in here. Gives it maybe a slightly familiar vibe as it dries down to Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male. Now that being said, it doesn't smell the same as that fragrance, but if you wanted to tell me that they were in the same family, I could get with that, I guess. This one really smells great. I know that when it was getting a bunch of hype, some people were like, oh, it's not that good, but it really is a nice fragrance that most people are going to love. The projection is good, especially for a fresh fragrance, and the longevity is great for a fresh fragrance. So if you've never ever checked this one out, you want a nice spring or summertime fragrance that's admittedly a floral fragrance, though a white floral fragrance, so men can easily pull it off with very good performance. Check this out. And we're going from a nice spring summertime floral fragrance to a sweet leather fragrance. Versace La Yucawam, just the original La Yucawam Porum. In case you're unaware, this is a clone of Tom Ford's Tuscan leather. And it's probably the best clone of Tuscan leather that you can buy. It smells really good. Most clones are just not at all on the same level of what they're copying in terms of quality. It's pretty obvious if you smell them side by side a lot of times. This one though, it's good, surprisingly good. This one also got a lot of hype when it came out, and I've got to say, when it was getting all that hype, I was a little bit pessimistic, suspicious. I was like, yeah, I don't think it's gonna be that good, because everybody seemed to be hyping it and didn't seem believable, but it is. It is a really good take on Tuscan leather. Now, like with pretty much every clone, if you said, hey, do you want this or do you want Tuscan leather? Well, I'll take Tuscan leather because it's the OG, but this is great. It's got leather, suede, saffron woods, and of course, raspberry. So you're gonna get that nice, sweet, fruity raspberry accord along with leather and suede. Comes across very, very close to Tuscan leather. Though it actually, for me, has a bit more of that raspberry in there, a little bit more sweetness in La Yucawam. Fantastic scent. And as far as the projection, the longevity, the performance of the fragrance, awesome. It's up there with Tuscan leather, so it's gonna last all day or all night. Let's keep this moving with Ragba Wood Intense by Lattafa Perfumes. I reviewed this fragrance a couple months ago, I feel like. This one, you're probably gonna have to go to Amazon or eBay to pick up. It's not at the typical discounters like Fragrance X or Fragrance Net. This one has incense, oud, caramel sugar, and Gaiac wood as some of the notes. The original Ragba got compared to Scent Story 24 Gold. This one though, kind of doing its own thing. Some people will compare this to the original Ragba, though between the two, if I could have just one, it would be this one. I think it's a little bit better quality, a little bit more interesting overall. The incense, oud, caramel, and sugar work together so well, it almost comes across a little bit boozy at times because of that rich sweetness, almost a little bit syrupy. Fantastic fall and wintertime fragrance, and maybe even a decent sort of beginner's oud fragrance because it's not very expensive and you get a lot of bang for your buck. The oud here, not animalic, not aggressive, not dirty, anything like that, because it does have all those sweet notes to help balance it out. Very wearable fragrance, smells awesome in cold weather. 3 fragrances to go. This one is a newer release from the house of Azzaro, one of their better new releases because some of their new releases not been good this year. This one is though. Chrome Extreme, following up on the success of Chrome Aqua, which was a good release as well. Yeah, nice. This one has green mandarin, cashmeran, juniper, and sea notes or aquatic notes, some of the notes in the fragrance. This one gonna be a good springtime, summertime fragrance, great daytime fragrance, and it has really good performance. For the longest time, it seemed like the Azzaro Chrome line was just a complete throwaway line that nobody cared about, frankly. They had a bunch of flankers that you could pick up for 15, 20, 25 bucks at discounters. And that's pretty much how people viewed the Azzaro Chrome line. They'd be like, oh, Chrome, whatever, you know, just throwaway trash. But with the flankers that they've been putting out lately, I think that the Chrome line is actually being elevated a little bit. People are looking at it and taking it seriously as a high quality, potentially summertime line, especially when you factor in the discounted prices that you can pick Chromes up for. Once these hit discounters, not very expensive. Even the newer releases, not very expensive. And the quality with them being so good, at least here lately, along with good performance, makes these winners. And this one is really good, just like Chrome Aqua, like I said at the intro to this fragrance. So if you're looking for a fragrance that has aquatic notes, sea notes technically, along with a really nice citrus, pop of juniper, check this out. And I guess I should mention again the cashmeran in there, which seems like the go-to aroma chemical right now. For a while it was ambroxan, then amberwood, and now you're seeing a lot of cashmeran. So it's gonna give you a nice fuzzy warmth, essentially, as it dries down. Up next, fragrance from the house of Paco Rabanne, and it's this one, 1 Million Lucky. This one you can wear springtime, fall time, wintertime, probably summertime as well if you wanted to, but don't go too heavy in the summer. And that's gonna be because it has hazelnut, plum, and honey as some of the main notes in the fragrance. All 3 of those notes gonna be a little bit richer, a little bit denser. There is also though grapefruit in here, so you're gonna get a little bit of a citrus sweetness as it opens up, and some ozonic notes, and that's gonna help balance out some of those richer notes. This flanker did get a bunch of love when it came out. It's a big compliment pulling fragrance. It's very versatile. You can wear it during the day, wear it during night, wear it to the office, wear it on a date. Bunch of uses in this one. And even though that one could be used in a lot of situations where you'd wear something fresher, again, like springtime, it has great performance, great longevity. So that's a big plus. And this is another fragrance that's grown on me over time. The more that I've worn this, the more that I do like it. And that's gonna take me to the last fragrance for this list. It's from Dunhill, called Arabian Desert. I've only talked about this once, and it was during a first impression. This fragrance is part of their signature collection. They actually came out with 2 more this year, so I believe they have 6 right now in the line. And this one is going to be more of your typical oud saffron type of scent. There's also amber and incense in here, so with notes like that, you probably could guess without me telling you that it has good performance, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So essentially, fragrances from this line are like Dunhill's private line. They're their higher end fragrances. So the bottle is going to remind you a little bit of their Icon collection, obviously with that cap, but these have clear bottles and they are quite heavy, just like the Icon bottles. This one has a good amount of sweetness, a little bit syrupy, rich, slightly darker with the sweetness. Not at all like a bubblegum kind of sweetness or anything like that. The incense here adds a nice smoky facet, a smoky touch to the fragrance, but the incense is not really heavy. It's not like an interlude man type of incense where it's just like in your face. And the oud in here falls back behind the amber. So the amber is going to be what you pick up the most in the fragrance as it dries down. The oud is there, but it's more of a supporting note as the fragrance dries down. And then you get a touch of that sweet, spicy saffron as well. It smells really nice. This one lasts and lasts and lasts and lasts and lasts. And if you spray it on your clothes, it's going to be there until you wash it, period. And also, you know, with a fragrance this dark, maybe don't spray it on a white t-shirt. It's gonna stain it. Once it gets really cold in the winter months, I'm gonna bust this one out, give it some more proper wear. Right now in the high heat, not a good idea to be wearing this one, but once it cools down, really shines. So there we go, guys. 10 different fragrances that'll last you all day, all night. Great longevity with each one of these. As always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support. Thanks for sticking until the end. You're the real MVP. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video.